A lot of people ask me, well, why did Facebook win? It wasn't clear that Facebook was going to be the winner in this space. When I went to work there was MySpace, Friendster, Orkut, a whole slew of competitors in the space. So why did Facebook become the successful one? I have a few hypotheses for you. The first is that we launched with exclusivity. Many websites, when they launched, they opened to everyone on day one, but not Facebook. First, we opened to one college, then a few more, and we had this really slow rollout, so people felt like it was really special and exclusive when they got access to Facebook, and the people who didn't have access were all kind of begging for access. Gmail did something very similar. They made it seem like you had to be invited to Gmail. So if you have something that you're rolling out, consider creating a bit of false scarcity for it. The next was that we really encouraged people to use their real identity. Now, 10 years later, this doesn't seem so groundbreaking. We use our real names across the internet all the time now. But in the start of Facebook, that was really new. People did not use their real names and identities online. You used a pseudonym, you used a screen name, a handle. But with Facebook, we required people to authenticate in with a college email address, a work email address, and they had to use their real name. Now, we all know what happens when people are anonymous online. They say terrible things, they slam businesses, they are hateful. But something really interesting happened when we encouraged people to use their real name. Suddenly, Facebook became this nice, friendly place that people felt comfortable sharing. When we had about 5 million people using Facebook, 70% of them listed their mobile phone number on their profile. So that was a really big game changer for us. The final thing was that we focused on our company culture. I advise a lot of entrepreneurs today who say, well, we're small, we don't have a culture yet. Even if you are 2 people in your company, you need to think about what your company culture is. At Facebook, I think this was one of probably the number one thing to our success. We decided early on that no matter how much we grew, we wanted to still feel like a startup. Even today, with 15,000 employees, if you walked into Facebook headquarters in California, it feels like you're in that startup with those guys coding, the energy, the passion. One thing that we did was about every month, we'd do these things called hackathons. At a hackathon, everyone would pull an all-nighter at the office, which does not sound fun, I know, but this was no ordinary all-nighter. There were a few rules. First, they had DJs, there were food trucks, it was very fun. But also, you weren't allowed to work on anything related to your day job. If it was anything at all like what you did in your day job, you couldn't even touch it at a hackathon. Instead, the hackathon was really meant for you to have 12 hours to be creative, to work on something you would never give yourself permission to focus on otherwise. Now, most of the things at the hackathons were completely ridiculous. There was one engineer who built this keg, like a social keg, because he thought, I love Facebook and I love beer. Like, how do I combine my 2 biggest loves? And so it was like a social keg that when you pour your beer, it takes a photo of you and posts it to Facebook with what you're drinking. Another engineer made, I think, hands down, the worst invention I've ever seen in my life. It was a trampoline, and he connected it to the iPhone, so you jumped, and that became your unlock screen. In order to unlock your iPhone, you had to recreate the exact same jump on the trampoline. People jumped for hours to get back into their telephone. The worst invention ever. But what that did was it created a culture where people, they weren't afraid to build something that people were going to think was stupid or silly. Like, it was suddenly this culture where it was okay to build a trampoline that connects to your phone. It's okay to build a keg that uploads to Facebook. And that brought out so much innovation and creativity in people and took away all the fear of failure that exists in businesses. If you had a good idea or even a silly idea, all you had to do was wait for one of those hackathons And if you could dream it, you could build it. So to me, that was something that was really special about Facebook culture, and something that I would encourage a lot of you to think about in your own businesses. Hackathons today are a huge trend. You can find them in virtually any industry. I kid you not, last year I got invited to a hackathon for a pet food company, and there were puppies and kittens on every table to play with while you were hacking. So think big, even in your own industry. Maybe you don't want to stay up all night coding, but could you do a think-a-thon for a few hours, a create-a-thon, a brainstorm with your employees and clients? You would be really amazed how creative people are when you remove all their boundaries.